So it says that we're streaming live. There's a little bit of a lag, so I can't see it just yet, but all right, we're going to welcome everybody for coming. Thank you so much for coming. And I want to introduce to you myself. I'm Gina Kramer. I'm the president of Wisconsin PTA. And we have Andi Krizan here. She is our reflections chair for this year. Again, she's been doing it with about 4 years now. So Andi is going to take us through this PowerPoint and tell us how to run a reflections program and how do we get our kids put up to the state for judging and explain the whole thing to us. So let's share my screen. And my computer's doing a lot of things right now. And there.
There we
click,
go.
Click, 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 click. All right. Now I'm going to mute myself and you go ahead. Just let me know when you need me to flip the.
Okay. National Reflections is a 50-year plus program. There are over 300,000 students that participate every year. It's an awesome thing. Next slide, Gina. It is a program that encourages students to express their thoughts and feelings through creative art. Each year a new theme is chosen and students create artwork to express that theme. Oh, excuse me. Students through preschool through grade 12 can participate. Students need to be in a PTA school in good standing with Wisconsin PTA. And we have an option now for virtual students or homeschool students. You can do the next, and if you can play the video, that would be awesome. If it has music muted, Gina, because I was going to talk through it. If it'll play. If it won't, I can talk about it. There are 6 categories. There's film production, visual arts, literature, photography, dance. There's one more. Which one am I forgetting? Music, that's the other one. And students in grades, there are 4 sections of grades. It's primary, which is K through 2, interim, which is 3 through 5, middle school, which is 6 through 8, and high school, which is 9 through 10. So we can watch the video real quick since there's also a special artist division for students who identify with having a disability and may receive services, may enter through a division or the special artist division or a division most closely associated with their abilities. And National does a program for national winners in June. And they have the winning art is usually put on display in the Capitol at some point or somewhere in the East Coast. The first thing to do is to get your school registered. Okay, you can go to the slide, Gina. The first thing you need to do that is go to wisconsinpta.org and go to the reflections page and start your program and register. It'll take you to this screen. And the sooner you register, the better, because we can work out any problems or any obstacles that are in the way. Next screen. Registering takes you to this screen. These are the information. It's your information, like your first name, your address, your email, your official PTA name. You also need to know your 8-digit ID that National PTA uses. I do not believe that lookup works. So your best bet is to either ask your president or to email Wisconsin PTA. And then your program level is going to be local, unless you're running a council or something. Next. You'll have to estimate the number who will participate and in what categories. I usually do all. Sometimes I do 100 students. This year, I'm actually running the virtual program for students or schools. So first time I've actually had to register everything too. And I just put like 100. I don't think I'll get there. I'm going to be excited with 10. But at least it's something in there. And then and you can't leave things blank. It doesn't like it when you leave things blank. What is the motivation? I always put in believing in the mission of PTA and my love of the arts and what it can do for kids. And then next is, it just gives you this. You don't get a confirmation email. You get nothing. All it does is when you go to enter entries, it lets you in because you've registered and asked for permission to get to that page. I'll show you that later on. I'm hoping to get a list of people who register so I can email them directly with reminders and important things if you're having trouble. I don't get that yet. All I get is like the school name, the ID number, the state, and the type of unit, which doesn't help me do much of anything. The next page is like, if you have questions, you can always contact me. You can go to our Facebook page. We started one this year. I'm not the best at getting it up and keep on top of it, but I'm working on it. And the other thing you can do is if you go to our Wisconsin PTA website, there's the reflections page has been updated. You can get your local leaders guide, which will help you with all the steps necessary to host a program at your school. It's been many years since I hosted a program at a school. And when I did it, it was the paper copies, which is much different than it is now doing things online. One of the things you can find on our website is the student packets, which give you the entry forms. It gives you an intro level. It gives you the guidelines for each category, like the set of rules and dates to remember. We are now leaving October, which is Arts and Humanities Month, which is a great way to start your program by supporting that in the schools. Next page. So the student entry form looks like this. The top portion that is gray is all your information. Fill that out first before you, and then make copies, and then give it to your students or your teachers or whoever's going to collect the information if it's you. Also on this form, and it's not on the next page because the little thing will only give you so much to screenshot, but the title of the artwork is very helpful. The artwork details, and especially important is the artistic statement. When my judges look at it, it needs to reflect what the theme is and how your piece of art relates. It's kind of what helps us to get what your vision was when you were creating your piece of art. So that's always a really good thing to remember, to have your students fill out those forms. And you upload those forms, like you copy them, like you, excuse me, I get nervous. You scan them in and then they get uploaded that way, or you can type it all in because you're signing some documents, but you sign it as the parent volunteer. So when the student entry portal is where you go to on the national site, and this is what it looks like. So you can sign in with whatever you created or make a new one because you need a new account. And so this is what it looks like. And you sign in, and then it takes it to, this is what it'll look like. And I made one for myself, so I'm putting in some art this year. It asks for what the student name is or the application name, and you put that in. And then the task that you have to do, you have to fill out the entry form. So that's where you put in all the information. The next one, Gina, has like the student name, the grade, all of those things. The next one goes down to like the grade division. Those are all the things you're filling out. Next one, Gina. And the next one after that. This here is like where the owner agreement, because the property of the artwork that we may use it, reproduce it, publish it, distribute it. And then you're signing as the volunteer unless you're the parent and the student. And then it has you sign with like your mouse. I love some of the signatures I see come through. I'm like, yeah, that's a mouse signature. And then it should go to the next one will be what if you see at the very top, it says upload visual artwork. That was the category I chose. So I need to make sure that everything's a JPEG or a PNG or whatever. A lot of my parents will just take pictures of it and upload it that way rather than scanning it, because the picture is going to be a JPEG. I haven't had anything with 3D artwork submission. So it says here 3 digital images at different angles, so must not be hard. I haven't had anything come through to know what that looks like. And don't frame anything. And so then you hit upload and it'll upload it when it's on your computer, and then you upload it and then it's all there. And then, can I share for a second, Gina? You disabled it, so if you let me share for a second. Or maybe you have to stop sharing. Okay. It'll tell you when you've uploaded all that stuff, and then when I log into mine, see, I can do both now. I can review it, and what it'll say to me, and I'll just show you. This is last year's submission because they haven't emptied them out. This is what I get. If it loads. So this is how I look at them. So I know who sent it in, when they did it. And then I have to download them. And I make paper copies just because it's easier for me to sort what things I have where. Because if we send something on to national, if we don't, what their points are, what awards they get from us. In my deadline for me to be able to see this and go into it is January 31st. I hope people will give me a couple days leeway, because what I've learned in the past is sometimes if you hit, because I have schools that are in Janesville and they live in Illinois, they go to Illinois for some reason. And I've had ones from Washington. So it helps if we have a couple days leeway to figure out all those things, or if it didn't upload right, if I can't see it, if I have missing information, then for me to try to scramble and get all that information. Is there anything? Hold on. Why are you okay? Move that. I think that's all I have. Does that help anybody? Ask me questions. I'm better at answering questions. Okay, go ahead, Robin.
So we only need digital images at this stage?
Yes. They're even nationals not collecting physical artwork, just because we used to, many years ago, we would collect it and we had lots of it, and it's hard to get it back. It's hard to get it to national. and to be responsible for it. So the digital has worked much better in that as we're going forward, and they've really streamlined like the survey that you take to do all this stuff. It used to be really crazy. It's gotten much better and it's much easier to do. This is year 5. I think I've got it down pat now. One of the ways to start the program in your school is ask your art teachers, your English teachers, music teachers. It's really not hard to start. And this theme, I will change the world by, is such a relevant theme that it can be worked into any curriculum. Any other questions?
Can you remind us what our deadlines are?
The deadline to have it into me, so like uploaded onto that site, is January 31st. I then have the whole month of February to figure out what the scores are. Like I send it to my judges and get them back. Some of them I have to really get on because they like to leave it by the side. And then figure out who of our state winners are and who gets to go on to national. We have, I don't remember everything off the top of my head. Many years I remember. We do 1 grand winner per category per age group. And that is usually the highest point total. Doesn't always, because my judges will say, this is really the best winner overall. But there are other things. We do 1 outstanding interpretation. We do 3 awards of excellence and 3 awards of merit. Hi, Amy.
Nice to see
I
you
usually
all.
note. How are you? I usually try to notify people right around like April 1st, maybe even a little bit sooner, depending on what is with convention, because we always invite everybody to a reflections luncheon, usually at convention. It may change. Just with the time of COVID, we don't necessarily know what's going on. And then if anything that has gone on to national wins, the notification comes out May 1st. Any other questions?
Yeah, could you give us an idea of what we should be doing at our local unit if we're going to do this program at our local unit? What should it look like?
It's been so long since I've done one. Really, like what I said was contacting your teachers and asking them if they can write it into a creative writing day, have them talk about what the theme is and what they would like to see from it. Maybe have a few of the parameters of what the rules are. There are some word limits and stuff. Hang up signs, because you don't have to necessarily do it through that. You can do it, just as a PTA thing. When
Well,
I
like
did
Robin
it,
said, they did it like the light version last year because they just kept it in their school.
right.
So it can be as simple as just collecting some artwork or as complicated as throwing a whole art show, right?
Yes. Yes. When I did it in West Dallas, because that's where my kids went to school. Granted, I don't think they ever participated in Reflections the several years I ran it there. We would collect the artwork and we put on a huge art show in the high school gymnasium. And we had things on the way we displayed it on easels and all sorts of things. And we made it a fun, like PTA event and brought parents in and, did snacks or whatever. And we used to have a very big amount that came in. As the years have gone down, the amount that's come is smaller. So in West Dallas, we used to have such an amount that we would do a judging there and only send on those judges, those ones that were judged well enough.
Was that at the council level?
Yes, it was at council, but
Okay.
we're talking so long. I want to say we did it at like Central too, because we got so many once upon a time. And we used to have to weed them down. You can't send in 500 pieces of art.
Right. And
So
that's
we
when we
used,
used to mail them in, right?
yes,
You had to pay the postage and all that.
Yes.
And the art teachers would mount them on fancy boards and everything. Yeah.
right. But you can still do that with digital art too.
Mhm.
It's at a smaller level. But asking like teachers, asking parents, having a little table at some sort of event where kids are coming in and asking them if they want to do it. Asking your teachers if you can talk to the art students for a minute and see if they want to do it outside of class, if they can't make it part of class.
Right.
It's a lot of times what I've noticed, like the stop to not have kids participate is they don't understand. And they don't, and it's not as hard as it seems. I wonder if I can pull up. Let me see if I can look in my somewhere my desktop. Is reflections from last year. I didn't get very many last year. Let's do visual arts. That's always my big one.
And we could do it virtually if you needed to, right?
Yes.
Put together like a slideshow
Yeah.
event.
I'm just trying to figure like here. I got to go back to sharing. This is one of the things I got last year for
What
art.
was the theme last year?
I
Matter because was it I Matter?
Yes, that was a I already know next year, so I get confused. I love looking at this stuff, and some of these kids I've seen for years. It's great to see the way that they've changed. And
They grow.
yes.
Mhm.
And that's why I wanted to, if students age out, does Germantown only have the one high school? Okay, because Germantown High School does have a PTA, but if they would go to a school that didn't have one, like Racine, Park is not one. There's two other high schools there that I can't recall, but they're not PTA students. So they could join, it's called an alumni PTA and community. So it's community, so they can join that and still submit their artwork that way. That's how we're working on making kids be able to continue to do it. Because I've had kids age out from elementary and middle school level and they still want to do it. So I'm gonna get some more information on the website and the Facebook about that.
Well, and I'm sure it's amazing on a college application to say that you've won, you know, even if you've only won at a local level or a state level, you've won a national arts program, quite honestly.
I think it's even great to say that you've participated.
Right.
That you've done it for so many years.
I think
PTA,
so.
I know that when my kids went to college and they didn't want to put PTA, I'm like, put PTA, trust me, it makes a difference.
Mhm.
And it actually helped my daughter. They hated it, but it helped my oldest daughter. She became a leader with their Christian campus group. And she's like, Mom, PTA really helped me do that.
Yes.
So it's a tooth and nail type thing to fight with, but someday they will see the payoff.
Yes, they will. Well, I do know a local high school that has their secretary is a junior. So yeah, of their PTSA. So yeah, and I think that's the struggle actually is the last few years since we went digital, I think that's the thing that just freaks people out, because they're like, well, how do you do this digitally? And so many people were not used to it, but hopefully now that we've been living in a virtual world for the last couple of years, more people aren't afraid of getting into their computer and figuring out how to do it. And it is a matter of, if nothing else, just take a picture on your smartphone and send it via email, and we'll help you get it up there or something if we have to.
If you have trouble, email me. Yes, Robin.
Is there any way for parents and students to interface with that form themselves, or do we have to be the
No, they can do it.
person who-
They can do it too, but it helps if I know where they're coming from, because they have to have like the PTA ID number, which they don't always have access to as parents.
Right.
And they have to sign up too. So sometimes it's easier to sign up as one group and have people take it that way, because then they
You
all
ha-
come on.
You have to register at the national level to get access to that interface.
Yes.
Okay, that makes,
Yes.
yeah, never mind.
And if you have trouble, or if you have a parent that wants to, you only have one parent that wants to participate and it's just easier, just email me. I'll come down to Racine and help you. I like a road trip. Any
And
other
then
questions?
I thought that I had seen a deadline for December 1st. Was that?
Oh, that is the theme search. They do a theme search they used to do it every year, but now they're working out like 2 or 3 years so that they can have everything ready, rather than like they had this stuff ready for I Will Change the World by like April. Whereas normally sometimes I'm waiting until July. Excuse me.
I was panicking. We were panicking.
No, that's the theme search. And they're working on 23, 24, I believe, because next year's theme is Show Your Voice, which normally we don't have that far in advance. So you can always work on next year if you can't get this year. And
That's funny.
And I believe the theme search paperwork is online.
It is.
Oh, that's nice. Any other questions? And you can email me. I mean, if you want to take down my phone number, you can take it down and call me. It's 414-303-2972. Text me, call me, email me.
Yeah,
Probably have to
that's
leave
all
a
on,
message.
that's all on our website too. So, and it's really easy. It's her name, A. Krizan at wisconsinpta.org, right?
Yep.
And Wisconsin is all spelled out, so wisconsinpta.org. I don't think there's anything else.
Anything else? I'm excited. I love seeing the artwork.
Yep, and it's just a matter of getting everybody the information and explaining what it really is, and explaining that it's not really as hard as it sounds. And I mean, I think it could be as simple as, if you talk to like an English teacher, it can be a classroom prompt for the day. I mean, the only problem is when you if they do that, then they'll turn them all into you, and then you have an entire classroom full of the exact same thing. And I always like to tell, well, do it as a prompt, and then you go ahead and collect it and pull out the ones that you feel are really, really good, or encourage the ones that you feel are really, really good to submit them to us. So that way we don't have to read 30.
I've done that too.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of.
I've only been running the state program for 4 years, but before that I was an individual judge. So I've been part of the state PTA board since 2007.
Mhm.
So I've looked at artwork for many years.
Yeah. The dancing in the film production is really amazing too. I know that can be a little bit more complicated, but I know with all the new technologies, your iPhone is perfectly capable of making those movies.
Several years ago, he was probably like a second, third, fourth grader, did a video with Minecraft building around the theme, and it was so cool. So anybody
Very,
can
very
really,
cool.
you'd be surprised. Sometimes those kids are smarter than we are when it comes to the computer.
Oh, for sure, for sure. And photography was always one of my favorite ones too. And those some of the littlest kids have the coolest ideas sometimes for that stuff. So yeah. So yeah, if we have any questions, feel free to visit the website, contact us, email us. We'll be happy to answer the questions or find an answer for you and send you where you need to go. Okay. All right. So encourage your friends, and this video will be live and available. So we'll make sure we get it out to everybody too, whoever missed it. And